almost, but no cigar, unfortunately, for Cloud9.
Sorry, buddy. Nice try, though. Very nice try.
Yeah, honestly, still really good performance, you know, from them. Good.
So patronizing.
Hey, man, he's down here with me.
I was going to take it and move on, okay? Now it's even more.
I was trying to be sympathetic. That's what I tried to be. I guess I'm just naturally patronizing.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
How good is LNG team fighting?
Wow.
Yeah.
Tarzan, Lissandra kick my heart. Oh my goodness. And then the flash back over into the 3-person Counter-Strike from Xayah. That was disgusting. And that was after we got the freebie. Hung even donated a kill to us.
It's what makes them so terrifying, right? This is how they made it so far in the LPL.
Didn't I say it?
You did.
Team fights. I was scared of it, and I believed in it for Cloud9.
Tarzan has done this so much,
Yeah.
too, for this team. In their series versus EDG as well, is him looking for the enemy carry, big plays to get them back into the game. And this one, they weren't even really behind, but they had just sacrificed a kill into a 4v5 scenario. So
Yeah, I know we're waiting for the interview because we will get to talk to Fudge, actually, and it'll be really good to hear his perspective on why that didn't work out. I don't know how far we are off, but so close yet so far. Before I cut you off, you did get to kind of selection of fights in terms of kind of NA in general, but I guess pertaining to this game in C9.
Oh, yeah, please do continue, Various.
Well, I mean, when we get the clip, it'll actually be a great example, because I think that something that I've seen from a few from the top NA teams is just that when they choose their fights and how they set them up, I think is often why teams falter, because sometimes they get blindsided by the fact that they have this lead and they don't fully know how to utilize it properly. And I feel like that we saw a bit of a situation here where they fumbled control around the Dragon, they tried to pressure mid lane, and then they ended up getting collapsed upon. And I think Cloud9 was in a great position. They could very well have won this game. Very minor mistakes, and I really do think they were minor, but that is what makes LNG so terrifying. They're great at finding these tiny windows.
They are, and we do have the perspective of Fudge ready, together with Lore, in the Verizon post-game interview.
Hey, welcome back to the interview area. I'm here with Fudge. Thank you for joining me after this game. It looked good. Honestly, it looked good. And when I talked to Blabber yesterday, he was telling me that you guys had good results against the Chinese teams, especially in scrims. What was the main difference here today?
I think we're a lot better at planning in the early and mid game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time when it comes to playing against Korean or Chinese teams, they just plan a lot better around waves and knowing timings to fight. Playing against summoner spells, we never really used to punish summoner spells that much, and nowadays I think we're more aware and we're punishing them way more. And I think that definitely helps a lot, because that was usually the edge that they had over us, where one person would be out of position and they find an angle where we wouldn't really find. And I think today we found some pretty good angles, and it was a close game in the early and mid game. And I think we had a chance to win, and we lost one team fight. And I do think that comp does outscale us this game, but we did have a chance to win.
Feels like you have good info to reflect on and to think about for the next game, but to me it feels like most of the time when you play scrims and officials, the pace of the game is not the same, and teams will play more or less aggressively. Would you say the same thing here? I
think C9, I think every team plays way slower, to be honest. I mean, in scrims, I already know that like the Renekton Jax matchup is going to be both one health level, like level 3. Whereas on stage, obviously, it's a lot slower and people aren't as willing to take risks, which is just honestly more fun for me, because I think it definitely is like the very small details is what wins the game. And I think that's way more fun in general for pro players, just because it shows really high skill expression.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with how our stage games in terms of pace are going. I think they're going pretty slowly and we're not making too many individual mistakes. So I'm pretty happy with how we're playing. And I think it echoes to what Blabber was telling me yesterday, the fact that this iteration of C9 to him seems different in the confidence you have for each other and with the level of play. And I mean, you guys have been playing international for years. Do you have the same sentiment here towards the team? I definitely feel as if all of our players are very individually like confident in their own like laning phase, and they understand all their matchups. But also, I think we've worked very well together, especially during this boot camp, to get on the same page about how we want to play as a team and who makes the calls. And when someone makes a call, we fully commit to it. We don't just like one person does another thing and the other person does one thing. And I think we've gotten very good at just doing stuff as a team. And I think that definitely helps a lot on stage when making decisions, like, for example, the Baron play that we did at 20 minutes.
Yeah, just with the results you had. Last question, maybe. The state of top lane. I know this is something we discussed at MSI. It doesn't feel like it changed that much since then.
It doesn't.
What do you think? And do you think it's going to change a bit? We see Aatrox a bit more now.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going to evolve?
I mean, I think realistically, just like bruisers that are strong at Herald seem to be really popular in the top lane, just because, you know, fighting Herald is very, very popular amongst pro players. And if you don't have a champion that's strong in the early game, it can feel like, you know, the top lane is just pushing and moving and taking over the entire map. Realistically, I don't think it's going to change too much throughout the entire tournament. I think it's very likely we're going to be seeing the same champions. Maybe some extra like carry champions, like, I mean, maybe people highly prioritize Jace or Rumble more. Especially the Korean teams, I know, are very, very, very high on the Jace top lane, whereas a lot of the other regions aren't. So it's possible that becomes more popular, hopefully. And I know that some people were like practicing more Camille and stuff like this, but hasn't been on stage, so we'll have to wait and see.
Sach, well, thank you so much for the interview and all the insights. Always great catching up with you, and good luck on the next match.
Thank you.
Back to you, Shaks.
Thank you so much. Yeah, more NHAs. Let's get it.
Cassante Jax Renekton. Cassante Jax Renekton.
Really good insight, and I think he spoke to a lot of things that we specifically were bringing up, and I think that's a good lead into the replays we have, starting with the Baron. I'm saying, I feel like we didn't get caught out of position. We had more of a control and a pacing and a visibility on them, and I think this is a good example.
I mean, this one was probably our peak moment in the game for Cloud9. They pick off the biggest threat. Scout is down, Azir is down, and then as Fudge alluded to in that interview, the whole team commits to the prospect of going for Baron, and they get even more for it, keeping them out. It was a bit downhill from here, but that was a very good display of what Fudge was talking about.
I love that he said himself, like, it really felt like that we had a great opportunity to win, and like we were all fully aligned with that, right? The second that they took that Baron, it showcased a level that we already talked about earlier, which is that C9 are showcasing great macro. They really are. They're making great decisions. They're finding good opportunities. It just comes down to things like this next play, because as we lead up to this, like, I was getting a drink of water, and what happened? And you said, oh, unfortunately, jungler got chunked out, and then the Rakan ult was forced to use, and so then they ended up losing control over the dragon, and then we move into this mid pressure where C9 is looking to try and leverage their Baron to try and force down this tower, but they end up in a situation where with the Baron, they're trying to force something that they don't have full control over. They have information of these flanks, but they can see Tarzan, but they're not really doing anything to stop him. You've also got Xayah coming in from the flank, and LNG are fantastic at finding these flanks. And just look at how amazing that is. 4 versus 5, they're able to find this incredible engage, take the Baron away, and suddenly flip the game on its head. Yeah,
it was one moment where their Cloud9 actually were split in their focus, because half of the team, the backline, is trying to peel and get away from this Tarzan Xayah flank. The other half is diving past the tower. Then you don't have your other carry. You know, Kaisa is all the way up in the front. Meanwhile, everybody else gets Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And I got flashbacks to yesterday for sure, because the Azir all of a sudden, you know, he was scaling calmly, and then he got given a little bit of space, a bit more gold, and I think in the next replay we're also going to see that it was just very hard to stop. But also I think just the coordination from LNG in that part when they really want to pull off the flank, C9.
I mean, again, the idea is really good here from C9. Unfortunately, LNG read and respond very well. They do lose their AD carry, but the second that he drops, there's not much left. You can see Fudge flashing onto Scout with very few options left to follow up. But Zerka and Sven have already used their dive. M&S stuck over the wall, can't really contribute as much. And LNG are terrifying because of their teamfight prowess. The fact that they can go toe-to-toe with a team like JDG, the best team-fighting team in the world, showcases that in situations like this, it's going to take a lot, and I have nothing but respect for C9 because they did so many things right, and the ideas were so good. Ultimately, it just came down to the execution where they couldn't quite match up to LNG.
Yeah, those last 2 replays were under very different circumstances. The first one was really, really close, good footing for Cloud9.
For sure.
Could have pulled it out. The second one, they were very desperate because of the last one. one and how much gold LNG got off that one. So they tried to make, a proactive, pick. They couldn't quite burst down Gala quick enough. M&S couldn't quite, it's hard to follow up on a dash that goes that far with Kaisa diving in.
Here's a silver lining, though. They're in the 1-1 pool now, right? Next up is Mad BDS, so one of those teams is going to be in the 1-1 pool.
I like it. Another Mad Lions matchup.
Mad Lions C9, run it back, baby.
We'll take all the Mad Lion matchups you were willing to hand us.
BLG will take all the JDG ones, and you will take all the... I got it. Yes, before we close this out and move on to Mad versus BDS, some praise for Scout Azir again. I think... don't be fooled, it isn't just Azir, but it's definitely also Azir.
However, he did die this time.
Oh, yes.
Yesterday,
C9 delivered his first death of the tournament.
So Cloud9 infinitely better than being able to kill him once.
So now it's 18-1-4 now, by the way, because it was 11-0. No, wasn't
it 11-0-7?
Sorry, yeah.
So now he's whatever. He's very good.
18-1-11.
That one, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, huge credit once again to Scout. The man is having a phenomenal tournament. I think the beauty of this game, though, is it shows that LNG are beatable. Their early game isn't the most convincing at all times. They are prone to making small mistakes.
Betty.
Yeah?
It's just, I have trauma from... Earlier in the tournament, we see LPL teams play, sometimes even the LCK, and then as an NA or an EU, we get a game like this, and we get such a false sense of security. And then we end up losing those games all the time.
I'm not sitting here and saying that all of a sudden NA and EU can beat them. I'm
Why
saying
not?
We gotta believe it. We gotta
Literally,
believe it.
what is the point? What is the point if you're not going to believe that you have any sort of
true.
hope?
You're right.
As an analyst, my observations are that LNG's early game has some weaknesses in it. It can be exploited, it can be taken advantage of, and this was true domestically as well. That doesn't mean that you still have to find a way to beat them in the team fight.
Kobe's right. We should be positive.
I'm just so happy for Tarzan, though, as much as we keep on doing all these graphics about Scout and his Azir.
Yeah.
Tarzan is an absolute beast. He has so many of these, game-winning setups later on into the games.
You're right. And now we're going to see Sheo and Elyoya also. Mad versus BDS. We're about to head over to our casters. But yeah, a very important game. Of course, you don't want to move down to that 0-2 position. It's unfortunate. It's a team kill for EU. How should this go, Fetty, though?
Expectations based on the entire year should be mad. However, BDS have elevated their approach pretty dramatically since they've come to the World Championship. So let's see if they first pick Garen, because they never did that domestically.
That's true.
So we'll see how they handle Adam, as he's gained a lot of confidence.
Yeah, how is that possible? You get to Worlds and now you pick Garen? We'll see.
Adam made me a fan. I'm a big fan already. Pick that Garen again. Let's see it.
Pick it. Let's see. All right. We'll head over to our casters and get into that draft.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back. All right, EU versus EU time. We've had NA versus NA. I'm Asterix, and this is Xayah next to me, by the way. If you're just wondering, if you didn't know who he was, you're under a rock. If you don't know who I was, maybe
you're also under a rock.
I guess, yeah, you're under an LPL rock of some kind. Anyway, we've already had a regional rivalry today, Azal. We opened up the flavorful day with it. We are now up to another one, but the funny thing about this one is there's not much of a rivalry between BDS and Mad over recency. I know it's something we could discuss about over the period of the matchup, but it's just hilarious that, we're going through one that hasn't been seen domestically, maybe as much as the G2, well, definitely not as much as the G2 versus Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, G2 just makes so many finals, right? Head-to-head, historically, Mad has 7-5 win-loss as far as the head-to-head goes. They are slightly favored there. The last time we actually saw these teams, in a major matchup was back in the reverse sweep in spring, where Mad was able to actually take that down. So yeah, ages ago, as you're saying. But these teams, definitely do evolve throughout their time here, and especially BDS coming through World Qualifier Series as well as the play-ins, I think has really had some time to develop that confidence. And it's always so interesting because European fans have so little faith in Mad, even though this team is so good domestically. And I'm just interested to see if Mad now can kind of get back to their roots, feel comfortable, feel confident, much like NRG earlier against TL. TL had a much better look on day one, but they got wiped by Energy, right? The same thing could potentially happen here for Mad. I kind of feel bad for them in a lot of ways because they get so much hate, but they are one of the best teams from the region. They constantly make it international. They have made it to quarters. They've won titles in the LEC, and they are deserving of credit for that. It's also interesting to see no Garen ban. Adam was not someone who was blind picking Garen in the LEC, but will he be willing to do it now because he's had so much success, so much confidence on it, or is he unwilling to do it because he's playing against a team that's very familiar with that style?
Yeah, so domestically, again, having that insight. I mean, also against Chasy rather than 369. 369 yesterday, the response is always tank. He knows that comfortability, that's what's going to happen with the playstyle, but Chasy, we know, is a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
As we go into the Xayah to start things off, just a quick reminder, Sheo on the Vi there on the other side to engage options, and even pick options, especially Labrov on Alistar. Thing we've already seen many times, even throughout the play-in stage as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's already a lot of aggression here drafted on the BDS side. It is going to be Gnar locked in for Chasy. So there is the opportunity. Does Adam want to play one of his signature aggressive picks? Is he willing to take a Garen into it? You can maybe burst down the Gnar in midi, but it is one of those more difficult matchups. Gnar, is pretty stable. You can build fairly defensive and just kind of survive and slowly whittle away at that Garen. But one of the things that has impressed me way more with Adam on his Garen than his highlights, like when he has those big games, you can snowball, you can run over someone's Garen. People have done that. But what impressed me the most is when he has a laning phase that isn't going his way, how well he's able to affect the map, right? Because Garen from behind is such a meme, but this guy always seems to have an impact. He's playing with no TP, he's playing Ignite Garen, he's overwhelmingly making a big impact on that map, even though he's in these bad spots. And I think that's been the coolest part about watching Adam throughout this event for me.
I was saying yesterday on the desk, he's so unpredictable. That's the hardest thing as well, right? Like, there are teams in our competition that are very unpredictable. That's what makes them a threat. I think Adam individually is one of the most unpredictable players in such a good way here in the Swiss stage of Worlds. But as we soldier on with that Kai'Sa picked up, we're getting rid of engage options for Mad. The Jarvan away from Elyoya. It's what we saw yesterday up against Cloud9. Unfortunately, not too much success outside of the top lane gank, but still getting rid of a bit of comfort here with the Olaf versus Adam. We've already got rid of Darius. We're just taking the letters away.
Yep, going to be banning out the gods here potentially. It's also interesting because we just touched on the previous game in the Swiss stage. We haven't been seeing this lethality Kai'Sa. I don't know that we'll see it this game, but Crownie did play it multiple times against PSG in that best of 5 to get out. He played it in back-to-back games in their reverse sweep there, through that run to get into the Swiss stage. So I'm interested to see if he's going to go towards that. Renekton was by far the most played there for Adam throughout that regular season and everything. So he's going back towards a standard pick, but not something that he's uncomfortable with, not something that he hasn't been playing. This was kind of his default pick. 15 plays throughout the summer split, compared to 7, his next most on that Darius. So definitely did play a lot of the Croc.
I just love the Korean casters popping off because God was banned with Garen in the end. The Renekton gets picked. It seems like they were disappointed to see his most pick. And I'll tell you what they shouldn't be disappointed at. The fact that we are getting a Bel'Veth in there. Now, Azir, time to allocate lanes, honestly, because there's a lot going on there, a lot that can still be flexed around. We know Bel'Veth can go support jungle. We know Rell can go support jungle. We know, especially needing a mid laner, that Nisqy's probably going to take that Lissandra towards mid. But again, a couple of questions to answer of Mad as BDS lock themselves in nuke Azir.
Yeah, it is really, really interesting to see where they're going to be flexing things around. I am definitely expecting to be Bel'Veth jungle, though. Okay. I don't. It's possible with Hilly because it could be Rell jungle and Hilly playing something crazy. Especially because it's Hilly, you never know. But Elyoya has played the Bel'Veth jungle. He did play it once throughout the split. It is something that's seen in the LEC a decent amount, though. Yike is really well known for this. They have a few junglers that do actually splash in the Bel'Veth, which is a really fun pick to watch. We did see River bring it out actually against BDS. That game did not work out for them. They ended up losing even though they got a big early lead. So it is one of those champions that really have to have a lot of pace in the game. You have to be farming constantly, really outpacing your opponents. I like the Lissandra, though, as an answer. I think it's really clever into the Vi. You have this pick that is often very squishy that's diving in, and you can kind of just lock down and get that single target burst, get that first kill to set up for the Bel'Veth. Similar to how you're actually playing alongside of Viego, you want to have that upfront burst, get that first kill, pick up, get those resets from the Bel'Veth where you can really start to go crazy. And playing towards that top side becomes really, really important with Bel'Veth because you get so much extra value from those Rift Heralds. So there is a strong top side for BDS, with that Renekton as well as the Vi, but I think Mad are going to be playing heavily towards that top side as well, trying to claim those Heralds and set themselves up for success.
I mean, as you were saying, Adam could really take over games in many more ways than just winning the lane. So I think it's important to note that playing towards top side for Mad seems to be a calculated response into their approach into BDS today. Azir before was informing you that the rivalry here, doesn't really go back and forth throughout the regular season, or rather through recency. It was spring, the reverse sweep mentioned, but Mad and BDS, we're not looking them as historic organizations, much like the first and second seed of the LEC, not like the G2 Fanatics. But at least for one of these teams, at least for one of these back runners in the third and fourth seed, they will be moving to 1-1. Another regional rivalry. Unlucky with the draw, but I guess, we get to kind of create a new story with Mad and BDS going head-to-head in Swiss.
Exactly. It's the World Tour. We went to North America earlier, then we went international, had a little LPL versus NA, and now we're headed over to Europe. So you're getting to go everywhere. Nice little kind of lying in wait for that ward. They're anticipating that and going to be able to take it out. It's not a surprise that Elyoya is playing in this area, though. Bel'Veth, the first camp for Bel'Veth is not one of your camps, it's actually your enemy Raptors. And that's kind of pretty much any time I play up against Bel'Veth, they're going to look for this invade. So BDS is fully ready for this. They have 3 men here waiting for it. And it looks like they're going to be down to scrap. The weird thing about this, though, and we saw this actually happen to River when he picked it against BDS, is it just ended up in a kind of standoff against Sheo.
Yep.
And I actually think that's very good, for the Vi. It's the Bel'Veth that needs to make things happen. It's going to be a smite fight.
And it's one out by Elyoya, level 2 hit straight away. And look how efficient they are. Mad run in, straight away run out, and Elyoya now threaten the next camp.
Yeah, and I actually really like this because one of the things that GG didn't do is actually pull over their mid laner that early. They just brought both the solo laners, they commit to it, so it didn't become this weird dance. But Sheo didn't use his smite. So what he's expecting is he's thinking, okay, this guy might be on red, he might be on Krugs, I'm going to try to get over there and smite steal it, but it's already gone, so that really sucks. Sheo is so screwed off this, actually.
I mean, again, look, one CS, he has to go straight to red, but doesn't know where
it's brutal. I mean, you could see the emote spam kind of like ironically there. It's one of those things where he was trying to be really clever, and he just didn't have the timing right because his read is that, okay, he won the smite fight, I didn't use my smite, so I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to steal away this camp. He's going to have no smite. I'll smite steal it. I'll get level 2. His abilities may be on cooldown, and maybe I can even get a kill or get a flash or do something, right? But when you mistime that and you show up late, you lose both those camps. Now you're starting leashless at 2.5 minutes, right? Like his first camp is done at 240. Elyoya is 2 camps ahead, is going to be able to power farm his jungle. He can cross down towards bot side and defend his bot side camps because Sheo is just way too far behind to really get anything done. And it's an incredible start here for Mad and for Elyoya.
And I think, again, reflecting on what we saw yesterday, I mean, BDS had a really hard matchup to open up Swiss stage. I feel for them a bit. Going up against Gnar, falling a little bit behind the curve. Sheo's had some opportunistic moments to really find footing, but was unable to do so yesterday. And the point being that Elyoya, level 3 now looking to get that tempo continuing in the enemy jungle. Sheo's doing his blue. Smite is available. Elyoya's here, might be pulling it out. And he will not indeed.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? He didn't get the Krugs, he didn't get anything big here. Now he's gonna have to flash.
And he starts whacking away again. Bel'Veth in the trade. Sheo has to flash away, but he gets the summoner out. Elyoya holds his ground, and there's more Lavender to come for absolute free.
Yeah, that is just so good here from Elyoya. I thought he was going to cross towards bot side and just cover his camps, but this is even smarter because he knows that Sheo is going to move down. He starts leashless on his red so late, he's not going to have his third camp done. There's just no possible way. So it ends up being a situation where he can't be level 3 to actually contest. Labrov trying to harass here, but the smite is available. So another camp going the way of Elyoya now. It is just so rough to be playing from this spot, and now Elyoya can take this scuttle. Could even move up towards top side and potentially double scuttle if he wants to continue contesting, which is just such a brilliant start here. Sheo is so far behind, and I know you've seen those Vi games, we all have, where Vi gets behind, there's no fallback pattern to Vi. You just go in, and when you get behind, it tends to be those 10 death power spikes coming in pretty early.
That's right. No levels as well. You're even squishier too. You get nuked earlier on. I mean, Elyoya, you can see the difference. While at least we focus on the bot side now. Crownie low on matter here as Labrov still looking for that engage, but the Mad 2v2 is holding their ground as well. And we look across the map. I mean, this is the thing about having a jungle lead on Bel'Veth as well. I feel like for BDS, they have to pay a lot more respect than maybe they would have had to before because Elyoya will be so strong and he's going to start running the map.
Yeah, exactly. It's really tough because especially when this jungler gets ahead, you just farm so damn fast. That makes it really difficult. And you see Hilly going in.
Engaged. Labrov has to flash away. A summoner down the bottom side as Mad's bot lane 2v2 is doing well as well.
Yeah, that is really big for them. Because while Mad had a lot of up and downs, they were kind of very inconsistent. When you look at them from spring, they're winning. You look at them in summer, the regular season, they were really kind of struggling. But the one big point of consistency I always felt was Carzzy. Like, Carzzy was V9 in some of these games where things were going bad, but they're going to look for a potential dive here. Adam is softened up, so they're not confident to actually commit to it, unfortunately. But Carzzy has just been such a big difference maker for this team. And when he goes international, he's also been great.
Yeah.
He is such a massive portion of their team fight damage. He really can take over in that stage. And when Mad are setting him up for success, it often just means really good things for the whole team because he is so reliable for them.
And can I also just say I've been told by about 5 different people that he's a really nice guy. So throughout my Korea trip, I've just been told about this legend. Carzzy.
Get that on the stat sheet.
Oh,
36% DPM, 1,000 gold lead. Really nice guy.
Really nice guy. It needs to be said. Again, as we look for roams mid through supports, not even at the Rift Herald timing, but already the map is moving. As you can see, Sheo was trying to get in Elyoya's face, but what can he do? He tried to position topside for a gank, tried to invade himself.
Oh my God.
Sheo is still behind 30
full
CS.
levels.
At 6 minutes of the game, Azir.
I mean, Sheo is going to farm up his wolves, but he is just dinging 4.
Level
and
6.
Elyoya's 6. Yeah, he is so comically ahead. You know,
Yep.
he's the same level as these solos, and now Hilly is just going to keep invading.
Comes
Labrov
the
could try to
boys.
come, but Labrov has no flash, so he's in danger as well.
Sheo, how do you get out of this one above and beyond and start knocking away with the Royal Maelstrom? It's an easy first blood. Lavender evolution dominance from Elyoya.
Absolute jungle gap here. You have to give credit to Elyoya, but you also have to give credit to the planning from Mad, and it's a whole team effort to create a lead like this. You cannot do this on your own. It's both solo laners coming to Raptors level 1. It's Hylissang getting an advantage bot, re-invading with him at this stage. It's them now moving over towards the dragon, and he's just playing with such incredible pace. And the beautiful thing about when you're playing this style of heavy farming jungler is when you get ahead, you just tend to get even more ahead because you just start one-shotting the camps. You get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I just really struggle to see what Sheo is going to be able to get done in this one. He's got to rely so much on Crownie, so much on Nuke and Adam to really kind of bring him back in. And Crownie has been, you know, a guy who has had such an up and down year, you know, to kind of speak about that inconsistency. You know, when you look back to spring, he was incredible. And then in summer, it just really wasn't it. You know, Zeri became less meta. That was kind of his best champion. And he hasn't been performing nearly as well as he did in that spring. So Crownie really looking kind of have that return to form. Because when he is at his best, he's just an incredible team fighter.
Well, Labrov might be caught out. We'll hold on that because Labrov, he burned his flash before in the lane, and the 2v2 of Mad are coming alive. What a night and day difference from yesterday versus C9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they came in with such a good plan here from level 1. They're executing well on it. They're winning 2v2. They're winning top, and now Nuke is just going to get pushed out. I mean, this is Hilly at his best, right? When he is able to get out of lane, affect the map, you know, when they win the 2v2, he is just unleashed, and now going to be able to pick up that Rift Herald, and now the push is on. When you start getting all these little voidlings spawning out, it is so annoying to deal with here. And BDS is trying to roam to look to answer, but look at the gold difference. Like, that is ridiculous. He has 50% more gold than his opponent and a 2-level lead at 8 minutes.
8 minutes into the game. It's absurd. It is almost leading that 2K lead, really, for Mad right now. Bottom side setup. We talked about Carzzy being the reliable threat as well. He's in a good spot with the kill as we look at how Labrov ended up dying from bad timing.
That is unfortunate. Hilly was on the recall. They didn't have the ward, and Labrov trying to do a sneaky play. He's making the assumption Hilly is on the roam, but Hilly stops the recall, stuns him up, and there's just no way out. He has no flash, and Carzzy's playing Ghost. Carzzy really does like to play the Ghost, and when you have that there, ain't no way you're getting out. You're just going to get chased down.
That's rough, but look, hey, for Mad, early game's great. And again, to highlight what I was saying before, I mean, yesterday versus C9, there was one gank topside as I didn't even get time to talk today because Nuke has to run for his life because Hylissang lives mid. I mean, this guy's not even paying rent, but he lives here.
May I direct your eyes to the jungle itemization?
Ooh.
Thoughts? It seems to be a bit of a jungle item advantage.
Yeah, wonder why. That's still 30 CS, and
my
yeah,
God,
I mean, cracking already.
At 9 minutes.
Yep.
And his opponent, he's in the garage sale. He's looking for discounts. He's getting some coupons, hoping he can find some way to come back. But, geez, this is brutal for Sheo. He is now at least 6, so, hey, you do still have the ulti. You do still have some ways to contribute. And we'll see, you know, if they can actually find that, because at the very least, Nuke laning well, is very stable in this Azir, you know, has a CS advantage. Crownie's still farming well. Adam has had that slight advantage on top side. So it is just mostly that big jungle edge over there to Mad. But if BDS can really combine on some good plays, hey, maybe it won't matter.
Maybe it won't, but for now, I mean, we're still singing the praises of Mad here. BDS, I was coming in today ready to talk about how they're warmed up, ready to go. I mean, they versed JDG, yes, but coming from play-ins, that edge we've seen from teams like DRX last year to compare, you know, BDS have been in the competition longer.
But it's just one of these things where when teams are playing in these regional matchups, they feel so much more comfortable, so much more at home. And I do think it's fair to say that Mad is likely a team that really kind of struggles from those nerves when they go international. You know, they don't seem to be able to live up to their LEC performances, you know, when they do have those international berths. So that is one of the toughest things for them. But when you're playing against BDS, you've done it so many times. You know this team.
Well, above and below starts it off. There's onto the turret. It's all about this Rift Herald that should get an easy charge. Elyoya, that endless banquet is misleading. It is about to end for the time being. Elyoya, by the way, 28 stacks on that Death in Lavender. Already so much as this could be the all-in, but Nuke gets out with turret plating. A small win for BDS to get some gold back in their pockets.
Yeah, good buffer there as well from Nuke, just in the nick of time here. Does have the early mercs. It's a must-buy against Nisqy here, playing this Lissandra. You'll just get locked down 100-0, but Nuke's in a great spot, right? You know, he does have that individual gold lead, is 600 gold. Yes, that's not as much as the 1,400 gold lead in the jungle, but Azir scales incredibly well, as long as you're not giving up a lot of deaths. Things are still comebackable. It's not going to be all gloom and doom for BDS, but you do kind of have to batten the hatches and just try to play it cool, calm, and collected. Try to make sure you're giving up the minimum, still maintaining farm, and maintaining vision.
And as you were saying earlier on, even though Sheo's so far behind, Vi's still going to do the same thing, like run in, set up, get the engage. And we know that BDS, specifically yesterday, focused on this top side. And it's funny to say because I think this is the quietest that Adam's ever been, simply because of how far his jungler was behind, and simply because of what little BDS can do with no map priority, with this massive squid type thing running across Summoner's Rift.
It's tough, man. When you lose Prio, you kind of just have to turtle up. When your jungle is this far behind, every play feels like a bad play because you know that if Elyoya is there, you're going to lose the 2v2, and if your jungle is not even there, you're going to get crushed in the 2v1. So definitely have to be careful. But Sheo looking for plays. Nuke is in a good spot. But Hilly and Elyoya, they spot him with the sweeper.
Oh, it's a beautiful land. Hylissang right back into the same position, but it's countered this time. Labrov's in, but a three-man Magnet Storm, and it's going to be banquet time in a second. Hylissang gets out, but Elyoya still not able to get his damage down on his Kraken Slayer as Chasy teleports in, but as the mini Gnar. That's like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was 14. Mad running for their lives as BDS are getting something in this game. They're back, at least in some significant way.
Yeah, that is a great play from them. Unfortunately, the kill did go to Labrov, but they're getting active on the map. They try to look for this play. Carzzy, though, looking for Crownie.
Crownie, the root's there. Instant cleanse, but is it enough? Hang on a minute. Elyoya jumps on in, but Carzzy has just solo killed Crownie. Meanwhile, though, it turns to trade as the Feathers are about to fly out. But Sheo running in, doesn't matter. Nuke gets the kill. Meanwhile, on the top side.
No ulti on Renekton.
Now, finally, the Mega Gnar comes through. Chasy versus Adam. It's been about Chatham, but now better be about Giga Chasy.
Chasy takes him down in the top lane. There's no flash, there's no ulti on Adam, and he gets punished in that spot. But Carzzy taking down Crownie. I want to see that replay, because Crownie actually went for the W to try to finish him off, but it was 4 stacks of plasma. I kind of feel like just one more auto instead would have killed him. I think he would have actually killed him with the final auto plus the plasma proc. And the delay instead on the cast time from the W kind of made the difference there. So it'll be interesting to see if we can watch it with more time. BDS say, make the call. We're going to turn here onto Hilly, and then this great counter engage from Hilly. Nisqy flashes in, self-ulti to immune. That is your ult, but it is already Hilly going down. And then we can watch this one more time. This was really, really close. It's hard to know exactly, but he has 4 stacks of plasma. I think the right call is one more auto. It's 300 damage, 1 auto plus the plasma stock. I think he has him. I'm not actually 100% sure, but I think he has him. And it's really close. It's one of those hard calls to make, but the W cast time there making all the difference was too slow. And Carzzy makes another big play, and then up to the top side. This was just an easy kill from Chasy. No ult, no flash, has the sums tracked. You said it. It was 14-year-old Arnold down in the bot lane, but that is Arnold in Terminator. He's looking jacked.
I mean, to be fair, Arnold, when he was 14,
probably still really jacked.
He really was. I mean, I was watching a documentary recently. Maybe not the best analogy, but you guys get the point. It's still,
right,
however...
It's me in the bot lane, it's Arnold in top lane.
There you go. We get it right in the end. Look, it is still Mad with this early game gold lead. They still maintain that to a degree. However, BDS has shown how they can come back into this game, and we also have an Azir. We also have a Xayah who's gone cracking there too. And when you look at the MasterCard lane economy snapshot that's just popped up, Nuke has a gold lead over Nisqy, so at least there's something to talk about from this red-sided team.
Absolutely, and he's actually the richest member in the entire game, right?
Wow.
He has slightly more gold than Elyoya. It is very close, but it is a lead at the very least, and Nuke obviously going for a high damage build, did have that Lissandra already in. He's playing Conqueror, so you can always pretty much expect the Nashers to come in second. We'll see where he wants to go from there. But he is going to be able to put out that damage. Chasy in the side lane, though, is a problem. And this is one of the things, when you fall behind as Renekton, it's tough because Gnar, is only really afraid of you if you can get all in. But when Gnar gets ahead and you can't all in, Gnar just chips you down, always has pressure on the sides, and you have to kind of cover Renekton in these situations, which really makes it obvious where the Vi is, right? It makes it easier to track that Vi because you're pushing up, you're getting deep wards. And that is going to be problematic here for BDS because Mad can play in your jungle, can look for picks, can play through sides. I think they just have a lot more options, whereas BDS is really kind of more one-dimensional in their comp. They want to dive, they want to go 5v5, they want to make it happen.
I mean, every time that happens, further to your point, like, it's a 40 CS lead now, by the way. Sheo's going to continue falling behind, and yes, we said the go button for Vi is there, but I think now we have to look at the context that Elyoya is almost second item here. Almost towards his second item, where Black Cleaver was just completed by Sheo. So this Bel'Veth, ever scaling, endless banquet for a reason, resets in fight Azir, and we know that this team will fight well historically, but also compositionally. There's a lot to talk about how this 5v5 is going to go out.
Absolutely, and Elyoya has as much farm as the top laners, right? And that is equating now to 37% free attack speed from that passive. So there's a lot of attack speed that he is building up here, and does have another Herald in pocket, so the push is likely going to be on again. They already have that top tower. Could just drop it and guarantee the bot lane tower if they want, or can hold it for mid. Definitely do have options here. But Elyoya really has run of the map, and as long as one other member is around him, Hilly's with him, or something like that, he doesn't really have to be scared of walking into the enemy jungle.
And I think on that point too, I mean, Hilly has been walking with him non-stop as Nisqy now going to join up in the fray, but Glacial Path not taken away. Sheo's just trying to get his camps, but hello, my family. Look at that. Herald, 3 of her children, Elyoya. I don't know where Bel'Veth fits in. Maybe it's the grandmother, but that helps get the turret down as shove me back. That's Hylissang. Down he goes. Nuke again seems like the carry to watch.
He really is. He's going to be the big hope, I think, for BDS in this game. He's the only one winning, and he's the richest person in the game right now. So Nuke having a great one. And Hilly, I got to say it's a pretty silly flash, from that position. I think it's very unlikely that he would get out, but he saw the blast cone, and I think his thought is, I can flash over. Maybe if I get the blast cone, I'm going to get out. In that spot, though, especially with Dragon coming up in 145 and your team in such a strong point, I'd rather you die and have the flash for the engage.
Well, I'd rather see this fight play out first up. Gnar about to run out, but into Adam. Can he deal with this one? No minion wave there. Chasy ult. Misses. Carzzy running in, flashed on. Chatham, welcome back as the feathers fly out. He'll still be rooted down. Chasy gets the kill, but he made him work hard for it.
Yeah, he did. Maybe a little bit of sun in their eyes on that one. Chasy a swing and a miss on the first couple. Definitely made it look a bit messy, but Adam's too far behind. He can't capitalize, even though he played it about as well as he possibly could have from that position. Did get the ulti out of Carzzy, and they are trying to play a bit of this split map, but Nisqy going to be able to TP up towards top, answer that, and Chasy, the push is on through sides. Does have a phage. I'll be interested to see, what he's going to build as a second item. Is he going to go towards Hullbreaker and really commit towards side lane, or do they feel that they can just close this game out in 5v5? Because I think if you feel you're strong enough to really just make it happen in the 5v5, then you should just be building for that. And so here it is. He's trying to flash in, but Labrov is already behind him. It's really ambitious to think you're going to be able to get onto that blast cone. So maybe hurting now. I wish he had that flash.
Again, Hilly, what's going on, brother? I tell you what, I might not be an EU caster, but I do know that Hilly sometimes silly.
Yeah, brother Hilly making an appearance here as Crownie. They're behind him.
Oh, looking for the above and below. Gets it. The Maelstrom's out. Nisqy sets him in place. Glacial Path not taken. Crownie gets out, using everything as Mad try to chase up a kill.
And that is actually so critical because Hilly just died. He has no flash. He lost his ulti. But now, Crownie the wall, no sums. And it's going to mean Mad should be able to easily move in for this dragon here. Labrov even getting chunked down, and Chasy's getting a Mega Gnar.
Stride breaker here on that Royal Maelstrom. Labrov might be the first reset. Carzzy's just solo taking down Crownie, who had nothing, and now it's an endless banquet again on the back end. Well, the buff away from Labrov won't matter because the nuke down from Chasy is massive. Have another one on the house because Mad are back in charge.
They are crushing through in this fight. They're going to get the dragon, and Sheo spotted now. If he dies, this could potentially be Baron. Oh no, he lost the red!
Hilly heard what I said about him. I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. Sheo is just like this game. Could not get any worse, right guys? Right. Well, surely he gets out of this. Oh, absolutely not. It's gonna be a feast for the eyes, at least for Elyoya, to pick up yet another kill. Slap him down. Sheo, no way. No way. He's not getting out. He's not getting out. He's at least buying time. He dies in the end, but that was crazy.
Yeah, I did buy a ton of time at the very least, but he ends up going down. I mean, that's just Hilly in a nutshell, right? Hilly taketh and Hilly giveth away. Yeah. This guy is so fun to watch. He's so aggressive. He's so confident, and that is what has made him a fan favorite for so many years with his time with Fnatic and now on Matt as well. And with the jungler dead, it is Baron o'clock. And Elyoya is going to be shredding through this. Carzzy as well. They have so much damage, and there's no way for BDS to challenge. They're already down 5K. And I think this is almost the death knell here for BDS in this one, as you're now massively ahead, have the Baron, you're already winning in sides, and now your 5-0 Gnar gets a Baron buff.
Adam almost caught out off the back end of that as well, but further to your point, 7,000 the lead. Hexgate's used to try and get picks from maybe a bit of extra greed, that above and below not connecting, but Elyoya, a level 13 Bel'Veth with Stride Breaker, is not taking no for an answer with the Baron power play, which has only just begun. He'll move up, he doesn't care about backing, and will take more from the map as Mad. We're talking about it yesterday, not proactive, not much going on, but hey, as they overstep towards the top side, Chasy about to drop down, Mega Gnar almost there, Elyoya, big knock-up, but it's simply to try and buy some time as the shutdown goes to BDS, but it's still Mad in the lead.
It is Mad in a heavy lead, but at the very least, Nuke, again, gets that shutdown, and he already has his death cap, so going very aggressive build, got a massive shutdown there as well, so another 1,400 in pocket after he completes that death cap, so if you're a BDS fan, you are praying for a Nuke that this man's back is really strong, because he's got some carrying to do, as it is now Chasy, who is, I think, almost taking the lead in total gold. No, just got passed again because Nuke did take that kill.
Hang on, speaking of the devil, Nuke with the bop away, looks for Elyoya, but he's out with his movement speed. 60 stacks of lavender, by the way, he's going back in. Of course he is. The legend of Elyoya. I've heard about it only in whispers, but here today, they're turning into shouts. I was talking about it at the start of this show, at least you and I as well backstage. Mad criticized heavily. A lot of EU fans don't want to believe that this team's part of their region, but I think today you need to bring that back. Everyone needs to apologize because Mad are definitely looking like the third best team. And more so, looking like great representatives if they can consistently play like this.
Exactly. I mean, they really are showing up today, and they're showing us what they can bring to the table here. As this is, again, that previous play. The Mega Gnar charging up, Chasy going in. This is back to that earlier Dragon where Nuke got caught. And if Nuke goes down, there's just not really much of a chance to win the fight here. Labrov kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Tried to make it happen, but it has just been all Mad all the time, it feels like, through this one. The lone bright spot really is Nuke, but it's just tough without that supporting cast. He doesn't really have any front line because people are so far behind. You look up at the top lane, and the goal difference there is just astronomical. It's, up above a 3,000 gold lead for Chasy. Adam is just trying to stay relevant as much as he can, but really, all Renekton this far behind is going to be offering is a flash stun, right? You're just going to be that setup, and you're going to hope that that's enough because Carzzy is not playing cleanse. So maybe, just maybe, you can kind of CC him 100 to 0, make something happen.
Ulti out. Chasy doesn't even burn a flash. He didn't have it. He just jumps over, and he's out of there. Straight away, Nuke with a big resource to burn. With a minute left, the Dragon might hurt them a little bit.
Going to be playing towards that dragon. Mad just playing through sides. BDS really doing what they can here. You have to kind of just overload one side of the map when you're this far behind and try to look for these 3v1s, 2v1s to try to find those plays. But the problem is Mad is pushing up all of the waves here, and they're going to take that bot lane tier 2. Chasy pushes in mid. You can see Hyli and Nisqy are bouncing back and forth in that bot side jungle quadrant, trying to create space. If BDS overcommits on one side, they will collapse. They will look for those kills. And Chasy back towards top side to collect this wave. He has his TP, so really, Mad is just in a great spot. And especially when it's Hextech Soul, you can't even really have that kind of cope of like, well, it's you don't have to worry about it. It's it's one of the bad ones. This is absolutely the best one in the game.
Oh yeah. Look, and while that's going on, I mean, BDS are trying to commit to top side. They're like, we're not going to pick up this dragon. We've lost complete bottom side priority rather. And Chasy still gets out regardless. Sheo even stopped with his back. Mad trying to turn it into a longer play. But at the very least, dotting their I's, crossing their teams in terms of setting up for this objective is what Mad are doing so well.
Absolutely, and the dragon is going to be a freebie here. Elyoya level 15 now. Still keeping pace, and in some cases even surpassing the solo laners in terms of experiences. Adam is still at that level 14. It's another dragon here. And that is going to be even more attack speed here because those Hextech Dragons, each individual one is 7.5% attack speed. He now has 74% from his passive, so it's over 100% attack speed for free that this guy basically has. And when you're talking about that with Kraken, you get so much true damage coming through between your E and the Kraken procs. It is really, really tough to actually fight against this guy. And you become so durable even with these squishy builds with your E, because your E makes you so tanky. It's like you can't ignore him, you can't really focus him down. It's very tough to deal with a Bel'Veth that's this far ahead.
75% damage reduction, it's nuts. Again, haven't seen too much Bel'Veth, but I just love that Mad had the confidence to bring it out here in this game when they're 0-1 down, when the loser of this, a European 3rd or 4th seed, looking like the 4th seed here, are going to be backs against the wall, start playing BO3s for their tournament life.
Exactly, and we already know that Liquid is down waiting, in that 0-2 match.
Yes, they are.
So, it could be another NAU match potentially. We know that either KT or D+ are going to be down there, so there's going to be such strong teams here. We'll see who else is going to join them, but both teams obviously trying to stay alive in this. BDS in a horrible spot. Mad now set up around this dragon. They have that massive dragon advantage, and they do spot that one ward in the back of the pit, so they should be able to clear that out. And they're just invading now into the jungle, taking away as much vision as possible for BDS. It is going to be dark and full of terrors here in their own jungle for BDS.
Labrov with the knock up there. Carzzy still here, though. Look at the feather position as Labrov immediately with the unbreakable will, just simply because more members were there of Mad than they expected. So yet again, another ulti used just to try and get some evenness.
And that means both Sheo and Labrov are basically a one-way trip. If they engage, you're both just going to die. These champions are so squishy, and Mad is just burning this down incredibly fast. Can BDS even get here in time?
I mean, they're going to try at the very least the last hand to keep themselves alive and move to a 1-for-1. Mad are not overexerting themselves on the Baron, though. They're not going to take it a flip. Look at top wave. Thank you, observers. Mad are playing with time so well. Look at the wave state. A bit of macro to throw that out there, as if they're going to look at it once again.
Yeah, they see Crownie pushing up mid. He's going for that tier 1, so Matter's going to start the dragon again, pull him to them. Elyoya is getting low, though. He is tanking this up for a long time.
Oh, he jumps in Sheo a little bit early. Nisqy not going to get to go in, but it's stolen. BDS keep themselves alive. The Frozen Tomb's out as well, as Carzzy has to get out the back of the pit, but Elyoya's down. No banquet for him. Adam gets a kill, but is quickly traded off as well, as Nuke is the shining light. BDS, all hail the mid laner.
He
misses. Carzzy with the quick sidestep is massive. Mad still went out, and I must pray now to Carzzy.
Carzzy, huge fight there. Really showing up, but that got dicey as Matt did not peel and did not keep Sheo out of the pit. That is not what you want to be doing when you're in these situations. You're at a commanding lead and you're 50-50ing the Baron. The objective bounty is taken. They do win the fight afterwards, but yeah, just no one keeping Sheo out of the pit. So pretty amateur play around the Baron there from Mad. And they burst down Elyoya, so Elyoya does give up that massive bounty as well. It's a pretty big swing, but Carzzy is really the difference maker here. Flashes over the wall, is able to get the damage down, and then Nuke, looking for this big play, tries to chase, just barely doesn't have the range with the flash. If he got Carzzy there, he might have been able to kill them both. Unfortunately, he misses, and that one hurts, as none of the Baron buffs get out alive. You get wiped off the map, and now you have to go again here in 1 minute and 15 seconds when that soul is going to be on the table for Mad.
I love Red Bull Barra power play. Nothing negative, of course, as you said. No one alive. 6.5. Well, let's just call it what it is. 7k damage pretty much from Nuke on his Azir when we said he was the shining light this game of BDS.
He's dropping a Nuke.
We met him, yeah.
It's him and Carzzy, right? It's those two guys just battling up against each other in these team fights. Elyoya was just so low, though, from taking up that Baron. You know, I was surprised that they flipped it. You know, they peeled off early. They clearly didn't want a 50-50, and then they just decided, screw it, we're just going to go back to it, and they ended up flipping it. It did cost them, not that much, because they were able to win the team fight afterwards anyway, but you know, the shutdown on Elyoya, the objective bounty, plus the Baron gold itself is obviously very, very nice. And we'll see, can BDS get out here, because they have no vision in the bot side jungle. Literally nothing, and nothing in the river either.
Nisqy.
It's so hard to get in there.
At least the control ward spots him out. That was an angle for a 3-man route down. Set up with the glacial path, easy access to end this game once and for all as soul points coming up, but Sheo looking for an angle. Hilly not going to find it. Glacial path is there. I know, Observer, I know. I'm waiting for it as well, but the trigger not pulled. BDS now have to walk into river while Mad hold the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's all about creating space for a Nuke. That is going to be life or death for BDS. If they can get Nuke to be able to free hit throughout this whole fight, they have a chance. He has Death Cap, but look at Chasy. He's on the side, and he is charging up that Gnar bar.
BDS have come so far for this point. Glacial path not taken yet again. Elyoya is going to be the strong jungle dragon. Indeed, it opens up, but Hilly, you are not silly. You're in charge! And now with you launching them back, BDS still trying to find the fight. Mad somehow getting bursted down. Adam takes a while, but look at this. Nom, 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 nom. It's an endless banquet once again.
Mad have done it. They get the fight, and I think they're going to get the game here. They wipe them off the map. They TP to bot. They crush the team fight. They've got the soul, and they're coming for their first win.
It all comes together from the early game. A couple of hiccups along the road, but Mad moving for their first win here in the Swiss stage. BDS have worked so hard to get here, but Mad don't care. That's LEC's third seed. Doubters be damned. Here Mad stand.
Something to be really happy about here for Mad. A confidence-building win. Knowing that they can get it done here against BDS has got to feel good. They came in with a really strong game plan. The level 1 was beautiful with Elyoya, Nisqy, and Chasy. 3-man invade towards those Raptors. They push off Sheo. They win that Smite fight. And then when Sheo tries to backtrack to contest at the Krugs, but he's too late to do it, it just meant that Elyoya got so far ahead. They're able to re-invade on bot side because he missed out on that camp. Sheo's not even level 3. And Elyoya was just everywhere from that point. Hylissang and Carzzy got an advantage in bot, and they're grouping up with Elyoya. They're invading, and they're just snowballing this game. And it ends up with that Flame Horizon in jungle, 255 CS to the 151 over from Sheo. So a jungling masterclass there from Elyoya. Yes, the Baron flip was a bit silly. They do end up losing out, but that's kind of the one blip on the radar there for Mad. The rest of it was really calm, cool, and collected stuff. I mean, they're playing through sides well with Chasy. They're stacking dragons. It's a really strong game from them.
I mean, again, Elyoya from the Jarvan with 1 impact topside to nothing, to then playing Bel'Veth out of his mind. It's a big on jungle game. Congratulations to Mad. But ladies and gentlemen, after the break, we'll continue the Swiss stage with GAM Esports facing off against Fnatic. But first, let's check out some footage of yesterday's action, thanks to the Oppo Cam.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Say hi to Glenn from work.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon.
That is a good plan. Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save when you add perks like the Disney Bundle. It's your Verizon.